The flashing lights in the rearview mirror felt like a siren song of dread. Mark's heart pounded in his chest, mimicking the insistent rhythm of the police car's flashing lights. His knuckles were white as he gripped the steering wheel, every muscle in his body tense with apprehension. He hadn't been speeding, hadn't run a red light. What could it be? As he pulled over to the side of the road, a wave of nausea washed over him. The thought of another unexpected expense, another burden on his already strained finances, was almost too much to bear. He had been working double shifts just to keep food on the table, to keep a roof over their heads. His gaze drifted towards the back seat, to his precious daughter Lily, her innocent face, a picture of oblivious joy as she hummed to herself, playing with her well-worn teddy bear. A pang of guilt shot through him. He was supposed to be her protector, her provider, and yet he couldn't even afford something as basic as... No, he couldn't go there. Not now. He had to be strong for Lily. Officer Johnson approached the car with caution, his hand resting lightly on his holster, his expression neutral. He had seen it all during his years on the force, the good, the bad, and the heartbreaking. He motioned for Mark to roll down his window. "Good afternoon, sir," Officer Johnson said, his voice firm, yet courteous. "Do you know why I pulled you over?" Mark stammered. "No, officer, I don't. Was I speeding?" "No, sir," Officer Johnson replied. "Your windows appear to be tinted darker than the legal limit." He paused, his gaze shifting to the back seat, where Lily was now looking at him with wide, curious eyes. "And it appears you have a young passenger who isn't properly restrained." Mark's blood ran cold. He had forgotten about Lily's car seat. He had taken it out the previous week to make room for groceries, and, in the whirlwind of his exhausting schedule, it had completely slipped his mind to put it back in. "Sir, are you aware that it's illegal to drive with a child of that age without a car seat?" Officer Johnson asked, his voice firm, but not unkind. Shame washed over Mark. He knew it was the law, knew he was in the wrong. He swallowed hard, trying to force down the lump in his throat. "Officer, I know. I don't have one." He looked away, unable to meet the officer's gaze. "I'm sorry, officer. I'm just trying to make ends meet. I work double shifts, but it's never enough. I couldn't afford to replace the car seat when it broke." The words tumbled out in a rush, a confession of his struggles, his desperation. He braced himself for the officer's reprimand, the ticket that would only push him further into the abyss of despair. But what happened next was completely unexpected. Officer Johnson looked at Mark, really looked at him, and saw not a criminal, but a man doing his best under incredibly difficult circumstances. He saw the exhaustion etched on his face, the worry lines around his eyes, the love for his daughter shining through his shame. He sighed. "Sir, I understand times are tough, but your daughter's safety is paramount." He paused, considering his words carefully. "Tell you what, I'm going to go back to my patrol car to write you a warning about the tinted windows. In the meantime, I want you to stay right here. Do you understand?" Before Mark could respond, Officer Johnson was walking back to his patrol car. A few minutes later, he returned, carrying something bulky in his arms. It was a brand new car seat. Officer Johnson proceeded to install the car seat in Mark's back seat, ensuring it was secured properly. He then turned to Mark, a rare smile gracing his lips. "There you go, sir," he said. "Now your little girl can ride safely." Mark was speechless. His eyes welled up, his throat constricted with emotion. He could only manage a choked thank you, his voice thick with gratitude. This wasn't just a car seat. It was a lifeline, a symbol of hope in a time of despair. It was a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there were still good people. People like Officer Johnson, who went above and beyond the call of duty to make a difference. Little did they know, this act of kindness, this simple gesture of compassion, would soon capture the hearts of millions.